What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Aligning the Stars. I am Jordan, and we are back with Stage 9 of the Millennium Falcon build. I'm pretty excited for this one. We are finally going to be done dealing with the cockpit for a little while by doing some LED work, which makes me pretty excited, and putting on some surface details along the top so I can actually like display this thing and put it out and finally get it like out of the box. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into opening up stage 9 here. And I've been doing some cool things. Wound up starting the new model build, and we'll do a little announcement here at the end of this episode. So anyway, without going too far ahead, let's go ahead and unpackage. We're going to be getting a lot of pieces here that are going to be for other stages coming up in the next couple of stages. Parts where we're just going to be really putting things just kind of aside for most of this. I believe that's what this one is. Definitely there's a sprue, and it's kind of a interesting one. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. So yeah, kind of interesting. And then we have a hull piece, and I believe this is going to be one of the bottom plates. Yeah, so it says, you can see there, it says BP10. So that's going to be bottom plate 10. So yeah, they're going to be start giving us. We're going to be kind of building like the corner of the Falcon right now. This is also for a later stage. We have ourselves a stapled-in frame piece. How interesting! Yeah, they just stapled that right through there. How interesting. Yeah, my favorites. I should have been a little more careful there because we know how I do with frame pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one off to the side along with these other pieces here because I know we're not going to be dealing with them in this stage. Yeah, a lot of it's for the upcoming stages 10 and 11. So here we have, with this part, is going to be the round part around the entranceway into the crew hold area. So we have that right there. Those are also for later on. These are light blocking strips, and that's what we're actually going to be using today. We have a screw kit, which I believe is going to be for later on. And then the cool thing, we have our battery pack. Now, I believe that this is all we need for power for the entire Falcon. Unlike the Enterprise, which is just lit up with goodness knows how many different LEDs. This one looks like it's only going to be used for a couple of lights. So I believe the engines have their own LED backpack, their battery pack as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and get this unpackaged. I did make sure to grab some. So yeah, these are the additional connectors for later on. We do have one. Interesting. Okay, so I could be wrong about what I just said. So what I did do is make sure to grab proper batteries. All right, I'm back with a screwdriver, and the first thing we're going to do is test the LEDs. I'm actually pretty excited about that. So I'm going to take off the screw here. Then try to be gentle so I'm not breaking anything. Yeah, good job, Jordan. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop in our batteries here. I'm actually busting out the nice batteries, the rechargeables, because I realized that we don't have any regular AA batteries. Kind of insane. I was playing with my remote control cars, so yeah, my fault. Alright, so now we're going to get that back put into place. We're going to grab our screw and screw back into place. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to lighting up this LED here. Finally. So we are in the off position. Want to leave the surprise for the surprise. Let me go ahead and connect the connector very carefully. And ta-da! Super cool. So there we go. We have our LEDs. Okay, yeah, pretty cool. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this real quick, and we're going to go ahead and finish assembling. Let's do this without making too much of a fuss. There we are. I'm going to do a final assembly of the cockpit. While it's mostly about getting the battery pack put into place, we're also going to be taking these two pieces here, which are light blocking strips, and we're going to be lining the insides right here and right here with those so that we don't wind up getting any light bleeding. One of the things that I'm thinking about is trying to find these for the Enterprise before I get too far into building whole section pieces. I did see a comment saying watch out for light bleed, so I'm going to kind of take a look at that. So with that being said, now that we have our battery pack put together, we're going to start by taking our strips here, and we're going to measure. Old trusty measuring device here. And we have our, wow, this is interesting. There we go. I was like, wait, what sort of what sort of magic is this? We are going to go 17 millimeters long by 6 millimeters wide. So 6 millimeters wide is going to be right here. And then 17 millimeters long right here. So now, what I'm going to do is try to be a genius here, not screw this up. From the looks of things, that is absolutely not going to happen. So before screwing that up, we are going to just go ahead and take our scissors, cut up, and cut across. Very slight, the lines that I drew. And we're going to have to do this on both sides, so we will be right back. Okay, we're back, and now we're going to go ahead and, as you can see here, we have our pieces cut. And the reason for that is when we lay them down like this, well, they told me either that or I can't measure properly. Wow, yeah, I can't measure properly, so well, we're going to be affixing that to both sides. I'm just going to deal with it and move on. I am an American through and through. Give me millimeters, and I'm going to be like, yeah, sure, whatever, bro. You got it. You got it. I will stick with with my imperial system. Thank you very much. So I'm going to get that put into place there. And along there. At least the 6 millimeters I got right. There we go. And this is just like I said, for that blocking of light that might bleed through. So we'll do the same thing here. And really the biggest thing is getting it lined up here. Make sure we're not sticking too far up. And there we go. Okay. So now we have both of our pieces lined somewhat improperly, if I do say so myself. I'm really proud of that. And so now we actually get to go ahead and put this thing back together for the first time in a long time. And for the first time for a while. For the last time for a while, excuse me. Which I'm looking forward to. I'm tired of kind of messing with this thing. As you guys have seen over the last couple weeks, you know, I've been doing a lot of work on trying to get this thing right. And in the process of trying to get it right, it's just been frustration after frustration after frustration. And I'm just kind of over it, you know. And so looking forward to moving on to a different part of the build. I know that eventually, like, we will be coming back and approaching this model, or approaching the cockpit later on. Interesting. Why is this not wanting to work now all of a sudden? Oh, well, it helps, Jordan, if you do that. Wow. Yeah. Early in the morning. Well, early-ish. Got up early this morning, started doing some, what do you call it? Airbrush work on the new series, which I'm pretty excited about. And I am going to off camera, I did get some smaller brushes. I am going to off camera putting this together here and painting this, because I think it would be good to get that finished up and done. On the technical console that we built last week, I wound up respraying it. Found as close to color as I possibly could, and wound up respraying it just for the sake of, like, I wasn't happy with the quality of the paint work that I had done. I'm going to practice a little bit before I show you that to you guys again, but so now I digress. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have our pieces lined up properly. Okay. Yeah, I am just over this thing. Seriously. Now, before we put this on, we are going to put these pieces on, and I am going to fix a tiny little piece of glue up front here just to get it on there. But for now, what we are going to do is we're going to bust out our glue here and get some glue loaded up. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on not getting glue on our fingers, number one, which I hate. I did that earlier. What we're going to do is we are going to work on fixing tiny little screw pieces. And so when I say tiny little screw pieces, I mean tiny little screw pieces. And there are some like that. There are some like that. And there are some that look like this. So, yeah, we got a diagram here up on my screen, and it's going to show us where everything goes. And so, on the top part here, I'm going to put the model right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start with number 1. And that was the very first one that I showed you. And it's going to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our glue. tabs. A little bit of our glue on there. Okay. And now, cardinal sin, I'm touching it. This one goes right here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. Goes right here. There we are. Interesting. That probably could have just been molded on there, but sure. We're going to take number 2 here. And the connection points. Let's do test fitting first. So number 2 starts. I see. Okay. Let me just look and see how it's connected. Right here. Oh. Boo. And then right here. Boo. And I'm going to grab from the middle. And just like this. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to get a little bit of pressure for a moment, make sure it sets into place. Beauty of super glue is it doesn't take long to set. Okay, we're going to grab number 3. 3 is a tiny little one here. 3 looks like it's going to go into these tiny holes here and here. Grab the tweezers in the proper spot. Oh, yeah, that's a tiny little piece here. Back end goes back here. Wow. This one is super finicky. There it is. There we go. That's kind of cool. All right, and now what we're going to do is I believe we turn it over here for number 4. I think the rest of it's all going down here on the bottom, so we're all set up there. Good to go. All right, we have the bottom down here. What I was mistaking for the top. Let's start with number 5, or number 4, excuse me, which is a super tiny little piece. So, and that's going to go with the nubs up, and we're going to turn it this way, and that goes right here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to glue up this little piece right there, and with the nubs up facing down. When I say the nubs up, I'll show you what I mean. These little posts that stick up right there. Those face down. Yeah. Wow. Super glue sets super fast. They call it super glue. There we go. Okay. So now 5 is this piece. There. Super tiny. And it looks like it fits with this piece sitting just like, oh, I see. Okay. So it's going to kind of straddle this piece right here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of glue. Just a little bit. Grab our piece. There we go. Oh, cool. Not quite. Doesn't quite sit just like that. It sits more like that. Does it overlap? Yeah, just slightly, yep. Right. There we are. Cool. Part number 6 is going to be this piece right here. And this one is going to fit in right there. Grab some glue. Get it into place. And there we are. That's pretty cool. I see the point now, like kind of like with the escape pods on the Enterprise. It's that textural component. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, 7's going to be this big boy here, and I'm going to test fit this one. How does that all fit? Just like that. Okay. So it does that fit just once again. Just like here. See? Okay. So we're just going to take our glue. Make sure exactly where it's going to sit. So I'm going to go ahead and put a decent amount here. Like where it's going to touch. There we are. Very nice. That's into place. All right. Number 8 is going to be this piece right here. And it's going to fit, well, obviously right there and straight up and down. So I can do this just with my hand. Maybe a little bit more precise. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Man, right away. Sticks right away. All right. Number 9 is going to be this tube right here. And that connects. We go in right here. Down there. A little bit of glue here. A little bit of glue there. And we're connected up. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah. Okay. So let's kind of show you what that looks like there. Where we're at so far. Cool. Very nice. Okay. We're going to get number 10, which is going to be this tube bad boy right there. And that one is going to connect, before I grab my glue, it's going to go here. So just go in, yep. We're just going to grab glue and put it into this port here. And then it's just going to go straight in there. And we just kind of hold it in place. Sets. I want it to sit so it's sitting nice and even down here below. Well, it looks like number 11 is going to connect right there. So, before we do that, I'll show you number 11. Get up your headers, Leslie. Okay. Number 11. A lot of glue there, unnecessary. Jeez Louise, Jordan. Go into place right into there. Just move forward with all the glue. And there's that. So we just built this kind of whole little bottom assembly here, and it's kind of like super kind of insignificant, but I really actually like that. It's super cool. Like, I love the way that that looks. It gives it that depth to the model, that realness. And I can come through there later and airbrush pieces or hand brush pieces or what have you. All right, so we're gonna let this dry and we'll be right back with the final little bit and an announcement. All right, so everything's all mostly dry and we're all back together for the most part. So let's just go ahead and put on our cockpit pieces here. And I am actually really excited about this, because we can finally take a little tiny dab of glue, and the front of this has been driving me nuts. I would really like for it to actually get into place, and it just does not want to cooperate. So what I learned from the last couple times is make sure our bottoms are connected before we try sticking that in there. There we are. And then I'm going to, there is a tiny little tab right there. I'm going to just take a little bit of glue, just a little bit of glue. What I want to do is quickly get, there's a tab there at the top, right? Get that in there, lined up. I'm just going to hold it in place for a moment and let it set. Oh, nice. So obviously, you know, we need to, I might just take, I can take off that cowling here. I'm going to jump ahead. I may regret my life here. Tiny little bit of glue at each one of these tab points. I'm just going to use a little bit thinner to get them off. There we are. I'm just going to hold that in place. And that, wow. Now let's see if I can get my big fat fingers back into here without damaging anything. I'll be right back. All right, after much fighting with fat fingers and tweezers and all of that, let's go ahead and fire her up. So now, I don't know about you, but after all the work on the cockpit, that is super satisfying. I love seeing the inside there, so I'll go ahead and get a little bit closer. I love seeing the inside there. So we added a little bit of work to the top here, a little bit of detail work, and then we went ahead and created this whole area here. So yeah, well, we did it, my friends. The cockpit is complete. So for our announcement for this week, we are excited to announce the next model build series, replacing the Venator, which we finished about a week and a half ago. We are going to go ahead and do, as you can see here, the Havoc Marauder from Bad Batch. My girlfriend and I were at the model store the other day, as I've come to spend a lot of time at. And yeah, I was, just kind of looking around, and she was looking around, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, I found one for you." And I look at it and I'm like, "Wow, this is really cool. It's the Marauder." And she goes, yeah, it said Star Wars and it looked really cool, so I figured you'd like to do it. And so here we are. We're about to do the Marauder. As of this recording this morning, I have actually gone through and done my paintbrush work. I've gotten some of the recording done. Wound up breaking my paintbrush or airbrush, excuse me, and so waiting for some parts to arrive before we can finish up. But with that being said, I am excited to bring that video to you this week on Saturday. So, yeah, without further ado, I'm excited. I'm expecting the Enterprise to show up at any time. I think during the recording of this, I think I heard a thump at the front door, and it could be that the Enterprise has arrived. So we could have ourselves a full slate this week of episodes. I'm really hoping so, and there could be a sneaky little thing that I'm going to attempt to do later on today. So, if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And until we see each other again, the Force will be with you always.